working in a male-dominated industry is already pretty challenging, but doing it again and again across multiple firms, professions is rare. And that for you is Ahlam Haddad, my interviewee for today. So, before we start, can you explain the different jobs, firms, and the steps you've taken to become who you are today?
Absolutely. So when I was at school and at university, I did very basic jobs. So a lot of data entry and reception work, especially at university. When we had a break, I would always take on those types of roles. When I left university, I actually didn't know what I wanted to do. And I ended up applying for a role in a company that processes superannuation transactions, which is basically retirement funding. And I really didn't like that job. And within 3 months, I was so upset about not liking this job. I thought to myself, I have a choice. I either stay or I leave. And I chose not to stay, I chose not to leave, but rather stay and actually make changes to the way I do my job so I enjoy it. Within the next 3 months, not only was I just doing my job, I was doing, I call it extracurricular activities in the office. So I did my basic role as defined in my job description, but I did so many more things. So I became an internal auditor, I became a trainer, I did a lot of process improvement, which we called best practice. And over the course of 12 to 18 months, I became what I like to say the big fish in a small pond. So I became the person in the organisation everybody came to know something about anything. And that was fabulous. And I realised really quickly to get ahead, I need to put in the effort and I need to put the work in. So by a couple of years, I ended up leading a team of 14 people. I was doing my MBA at the time as well, so I was working, anywhere between 60 to 65 hours a week and doing my MBA on the weekend. After 9 years and 6 months, I decided to leave that organisation because I wasn't getting what I wanted. I'd learnt so much, I studied so hard, and it just wasn't giving me the satisfaction in that role. So I moved to a bigger organisation. And that was a beautiful eye-opener for me because I had the pleasure of working across a bank, across a wider range of teams in that organisation. And what I thought when I started was, I have to build my reputation again. It was easier than when I started in that previous organisation. And I very quickly, again, became the big fish, but in the bigger pond. And from there, I just continued to put in the effort, to put in the hours and keep working. In 2014, I was asked to move to Melbourne. I was living in Sydney at the time, and I moved to Melbourne to work for another part of this organisation. And again, it allowed me to explore different parts of my capabilities. So I went from being a receptionist at university and doing data entry into operations and doing internal auditing and training and process improvement, and then working as an internal consultant to improve business process. And when I moved to Melbourne, I actually did all of that in one role, but I also started to do training and development. And we rolled out leadership programs to help coach and uplift leaders in the organisation. That was a beautiful catapult for then me to move out of that organisation into another smaller bank. And I started to work in sales and product. And I learnt what it takes to become a great change manager, someone who helps the business be ready for significant change. My team and I did a fabulous role there, and then I moved into my current organisation working in HR. And here I've been focusing on learning, I've been focusing on leadership uplift, and more recently I'm in a role to help improve our employees' experiences. So in my entire career, I've never really had just one role. I've had multiple different opportunities.
So moving from a receptionist to this person who coaches CEOs, what was the motivation and desire behind it, and why did you keep on switching your roles multiple times? Because we always heard the motto stay focused on one thing. So why did you decide to be the change and just keep on moving and changing as you go along?
Yeah. In hindsight, so my role and moving through my career and making all those changes was not deliberate. I never thought, oh, I have to change now and I have to do something different. It was always circumstantial. But if I look back now, I go back to something a mentor of mine asked me. And he said to me, Ahlam, paid or unpaid, what is the one thing you love doing? And I tried to answer the question and he wasn't satisfied with my answer. I said, I love process improvement. I love working with people. And he said, that's not the right answer. So he made me think about it for a very long time. And if I think about what I love doing today, paid or unpaid, that one thing is to help people be better than yesterday. How can I help you be better than yesterday? If I can help you figure that out, then I'm actually satisfied in that role, in my day. So what I love about that is, it doesn't matter whether I'm in HR, whether I've been in operations, if I'm helping to uplift leaders, if I'm coaching individuals, if I'm presenting in a public forum, I know that someone will take something away from something I've helped to coach them in. And I've had the privilege of always having the opportunity to do that in every role that I've had.
So spanning your multiple roles, what is the one thing that it has taught you? So from being HR to sales, strategy, marketing, what have you learned about it that's like invaluable advice?
The number one thing would be aware of what others are going through. Whether you're in the lift, whether you're presenting something, whether you're in a one-on-one conversation, business is about people. It's not about the process. The process just happens, it's a means to get somewhere, but it's the people that make that happen. And so through all of my roles, I've learned to be aware of the person I'm talking to or the person who is in front of me. I don't know what they're going through. They may have had a good day, a bad day. And so for me, it's if you know that, you approach every situation with a little bit differently, but also with empathy and an open mind to get the right outcome, not just for while you're meeting, but for that person as well.
You said you were coaching the leaders, but how did that big step come from? So what was the moment you decided that this is the right moment for me to do, this is the right passion for me? So what was that moment?
There wasn't actually a moment. It was quite interesting. I've always played that role. Even as a receptionist, I seem to always have people gravitate to talk to me or have a conversation about anything. And over the years and through my experience, people have always wanted to have a conversation with me, and it's resulted in how do they find their next steps. And so over the years, I've had conversations with people, but then people I've never met before who've actually been recommended by someone I've already spoken to. And they said, you should talk to Ahlam, she's good at helping you figure out the next steps for your career. I'm a very good sounding board. I have very open ears for anyone who wants to say something. So I think my personality and my nature allows for that to happen quite easily.
So you used to work in a pretty predominantly male industry. So what was the one thing that you consistently did that set you apart and allowed you to get those leadership promotions, become the big fish?
So over the years, especially my early part of my career, as a female in a male-dominated industry, so in Australia being financial services, and we're talking early 2000s, it's being aware of and being able to read a room and what's going on. And often for females in that type of environment, they do need to understand what is going on and actually position themselves in a way that actually provides them strength and purpose in any of those types of conversations. So the one thing I would say is always observe, be an observer, understand what's happening, but grow from your experience, right? So you may have an experience today that's probably not the right outcome you're hoping for, but what's the learning from that? And what will you deliberately do differently the next time? And then what will you deliberately do differently the next time? Because you have to evolve as a human. I would say that's important for anybody as well, not just for a female in a male-dominated industry. It's what are your opportunities to grow? Because as much as I want to help you be better than yesterday, I also want to be better than yesterday. So what is my opportunity there?
So, if you had any advice to the people watching to inspire them, uplift them, give them a piece of knowledge really, what would it be?
So my biggest piece of advice for anyone looking to progress their career is, number one, always hold the mirror up. Right? And what I mean by that is have a look at you. What can you do differently to hopefully have a different outcome, a different conversation, a different relationship with those around you? Because when it comes to leadership, how you lead yourself is the number one thing you have to get right. If you can do that, it will start to change the way you lead others and lead teams. And so being able to be vulnerable enough to look inside and think about the things that you want to change before you then learn about others and understand what you need to apply in different situations and therefore how you lead others. So that my number one is look inside.
Thank you.